drugs, no. Hitmen, no. Ah, there we are. Pay dirt. We're going to eBay. What's going on, prospectors? Dig Daddy out here in the shed, bringing you another episode of Backyard Prospecting. And that's right, we find ourselves back out there on the deep web, surfing through all the various unsavory things out there, and we wound up back on eBay and we found us some pay dirt. So we're going to check that out here today. We got ourselves off the old eBay very well packaged. There we go. Jar of pay dirt. Now, I'll pop up a link to the page here for you. You can check it out. But we paid about $32 for this little jar. Plastic jar, that's good. That way it doesn't break on the way. A jar of gold. Digs a Lot Prospecting is who sends this out. Now, this being a 10-ounce jar, the guaranteed gold that's listed here is somewhere between a quarter and a half gram. The pay dirt is said to come from old riverbeds, under large boulders, river rocks. You'll find the pay dirt's very easy to pan, and the gold is easier, but there is a little bit of black sand and magnetics. But it says it's been unsearched and classified down to less than a quarter inch, which looks about right. A couple little rocks in there, but for the most part it's all sand. It really does look like paper sand though. But that's what we got. So every now and then, apparently one of these is a bonanza jar. So potentially we may find additional gold. 1 in every 4 has additional gold above and beyond the whatever they put in there. So we could say we get a half a gram and that's the bonanza, and I don't know. But we'll check it out here, see what we wind up with. Classify it out, get them big rocks out of the way, wet it up, and run her down the sluice. But there you go. So let's hop over this way and shake it out. Alright, so we got our gold jar, 10 ounces of pay dirt in there. The jar itself is a nice little novelty, but at the end of the day, it's kind of wasted money. Because that could go back into, if you just get bags, that could go back into making better pay dirt. Maybe get some actual river cons or something. Alright, so in the package we get a little how-to on how to pan, how to scratch up your pan if it's a brand new one, to season it. They suggest small amounts at a time, 2 spoonfuls, etc., etc. Your basic how to pan pay dirt. Going slow to make it last. Alright, so right off the bat we got some water drop silver. Silver that has been melted down and then dropped in water to make a nugget. Put that over to the side. Looks like there's a polished something in here. Try to sweeten up the batch a little bit. But honestly, I can't even tell what that is, and it just fell to the ground. There are a couple tumbled rocks in here. You know, these went through a tumbler at some point. This one looks like it got spray sealed. Nothing really bright or pretty enough to merit keeping it. There you go. In the dirt, we have that sand. Some more shinies in here. So let's grab a little something to set all this stuff in as we're picking through it. I don't want to lose any of the shiny inclusions, because I do appreciate that they make their way in. You know, something you weren't expecting. Always nice to get. See a little flake of gold there. So I'll drop you guys into this dirt so you can get a closer look at it. This looks like some soft sands with some extra stuff added in. Little bits of water drop silver in here. Try not to lose those. These don't actually have any value unless you get enough of them to tip the scale way up. They're really just shiny things. Not really a huge fan of the water drop silver. It just does, it's not natural, it doesn't look natural. I prefer the crystalline silver just because it looks a lot cooler. Well, that's not necessarily natural either, but now these little droplets will probably just roll right out of the sluice, so it's best to grab them if you can early. If you're panning, pick them out as you go. But they're just little round balls, so they'll just roll right out of your sluice if you're not careful. Alright, well, we got all those, or at least all that I could see. We'll chance it to the sluice from here. And let's get that fired up, and we'll get this wetted up, and let's run us some dirt. Alright, let's fire this baby up. We got the dirt all wetted up. Sluice is ready to go. It's done gurgling at me. Alright, let's do this. So let's dip in and see what kind of gold we can find. We're expecting to find about 1/4 to 1/2 gram. Hopefully that'll be the case for us today. Pretty quickly. You can see there's a lot of black sands popping up in there, going all the way down the sluice. Last couple scoops and we're just about done. That went really, really quick. That's why they tell you do a little bit at a time. If you panned it like you should pan, like a normal person would pan at the river, you'll be done with this in like 5 seconds. That's a little itty bitty piece of petrified wood. Or a bone. It looks like a bone. I don't want a bone. And that's all, folks. I'm already just kind of feeling like I don't want to fight with a bunch of magnetics. We're just going to pull those out. There's no gold down here, and this is just senseless to add this much magnetics to your dirt. I mean, that small amount. Look at that. That's a lot of magnetics. Yeah, that's what you can do with your maggies. Alright, I'll fight with the rest of them. This kind of is the way. But let's see if we found our quarter or half gram. What kind of gold we did find. Alright, not too shabby looking. Let me bring you guys over here to check this out. There we go. There's a lot of little nuggies in there. Kind of surprised, actually. I did catch one of those little pieces of silver. A couple of them, actually. Actually, there's some gold in there. Well, look at that. Oh, some more silver. More of them droplets. There you go. There's some gold, baby. Now let's get this all cleaned up, washed up. We'll be right back. I don't consider magnetics black sands. It's just shit that's in the way. Sulfide's what I call black sands. That's where your platinum, palladium, that's where you'll find that stuff. You gotta get a lot of it melted down. In a small amount. That's where that's at. Alright. This is gonna suck. So that was the dumbest shit right there. As I was trying to put one of those chunks that I was picking up in here, I put it on the tip of the sucker, and I meant to tap it down so it would fall down. But I flicked it a little bit too hard, sent that little piece of gold flying, wound up falling behind the sluice box, behind the table, and behind all the shit that I have underneath the table. So I had to take a little break, tear everything out, but I found that gold. Ain't no gold getting away from Dig Daddy. So we got it all right here. Now we're going to dry it out, weigh it up, and tell you what it's all about. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back. We got Miner Bob in the ass hanging by to oversee our operations here today. We're going to weigh out this gold, see how much shiny we wound up with, and then we'll also check out these inclusions that were sent along with it as well. So let's actually check those out first. So what we wound up getting that was worth holding on to. A couple drops of water. Plus this shiny piece of glass. Alright. That's going to be close, but let's get this water soaked up. Alright. So what we wound up getting is 1.6 grams of silver. There's actually a little bit more weight to that than I was expecting. It is still, of course, all that water drop bubbly stuff, but hey, you know what? Silver's silver, and you melt it all down, it all be the same thing. So, not too bad. And then, tear that out. There's this little... Now, who knows what it really is? It's a real little red piece of glass, maybe a garnet. I highly doubt that it's a ruby. A ruby of this size and sparkle and cut would probably cost a pretty penny. Way more than is going to go into actual pay dirt. So it's probably a fake synthetic ruby, if anything. The color is pretty nice. But again, if that's a ruby, then this guy's got a really good line on jewels. But whatever it be is less than 1/10 of a gram, so that comes out to, what's it, 5 grams per carat, so negligible. Alright, now what y'all came for, the gold. Miner Bob, he's been waiting patiently, letting us weigh out this silver stuff, but he's had enough, and we want to know how much gold we wound up with. So there's a couple of more flakes in there, but there's also a lot of black sand that I didn't really get out. So it's going to take it up a little bit more than it should. But overall, there we go. That's how you get rid of that shit. Definitely some fine gold in there. Mostly bigger pieces of flake. But what we wound up with here is 0.402 grams of gold. So that's a little bit over the minimum. Not quite up to that half gram. But that being said, still a fairly nice amount of gold for a $30 bag. But I'll have my final words on ROI here coming up just a moment. In the meantime, let me take a couple pictures to share with you guys of the goodies, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So, Digs-A-Lot prospecting. Let's talk about it. Now, we got this jar off of eBay. It was 10 ounces of pay dirt, and it was only about half full. Now, the little can here cost about 30 bucks, and there was just a lot of packaging to it. A lot of wasteful packaging, even the can itself. All of that kind of adds up the cost of the shipping and everything. You know, it was 8 bucks shipping. He probably paid a couple bucks for all the packaging and everything, and that just digs into the product itself. I think you could probably make it a little bit sweeter if you just tone down the packaging a little. But that being said, it was a kind of cool novelty to get a little jar. I definitely can use this for something, to put something in somehow, somewhere. So that's a little useful inclusion, we'll call that. But overall, I still kind of feel like the amount of dirt that's included for this is a little bit low. Now I know it says $10 on the site, and that's what I ordered in. But if you're going to go through all the effort of all that packaging, it kind of just makes sense to up the size of the can. I don't know. Either way, it is what it is. Now the dirt itself, the description says it's from their prospecting in the local rivers and stuff. It didn't really strike me as any of the pay dirt that I've come across here in Washington. It kind of reminded me more of paver sand mixed in with some little rocks and stuff. So maybe some of it's their cons and whatnot from the river, but I feel like maybe they cut it with paver sand. Either which way, it is what it is. It all went down the sluice just fine. Now, once it was done going down the sluice, we got our gold. And let's talk about that. Let's go ahead and just put up the sign right now and we'll walk it down. Boom! $32.95 again is what we paid for this can of dirt. We wound up recovering 0.404 grams of gold. Now, that got us a total value as of today of $23.22, and that's going to be an ROI of 70%, which is actually pretty surprising for eBay pay dirt. Usually eBay stuff is going to be a lot lower, if anything in there at all. Maybe you might get a couple flakes and they'll be like, hey, that's the experience. But this time through, we wound up getting 70% ROI, and that's just the gold. If you add in the silver and that little ruby thing, it'll just take it up even that much more. So really not bad at all for eBay dirt. I'm actually kind of surprised again, because usually it's not that nice. So we got a good amount of gold back. The range was between 1/4 gram and 1/2 gram, and we got right about in the middle of that at 0.404. I don't know if this would be considered a bonanza bag. If you're basing it off that 1/4 gram, then this, is a nice amount extra. If you're basing it off the 1/2 gram, then it is what it is. So this is probably just your normal, and you would expect maybe one of those bonus bags to maybe even have 1 gram in there potentially. You never know. But either which way, it was definitely a nice return for some eBay pay. Really quick and easy to go through. So you can go through it slow because there is a good amount of magnetics in there, so you're going to want to worry about those, get them out of your way, maybe get yourself a magnet so you can move them off to the side. But either which way, I think you probably have a pretty decent time going through it. Not a whole lot of dirt for what you're paying, but at the end of the day, your gold is there, so go for it. If you need, there's a link down below. You can go find their store. They have a few other offerings that you can check out along with the one that I purchased. Otherwise, if you want to check out the Backyard Prospecting Prospector Shop, I always got some pay dirt for sale there as well, so check that out. Have a few other things posted there as well, so browse around, see if you like something. Now, I have noticed that there's a lot of you guys aren't subscribed who are tuning in. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you don't miss any of our future content. Otherwise, for the rest of you, I just want to thank you for tuning in today. I hope you had a good time, and I hope you'll find yourself some good pay dirt. Either which way, this is Dig Daddy signing out from the shed. If I don't catch you out at the river, I'll see you in the backyard. Peace.